Virgin Atlantic and Delta have a joint venture flying across the Atlantic, so you can buy a premium economy ticket from Virgin and fly Delta Premium Select for the same price. However, the onboard experience differs. Here's the ultimate decision guide to the differences and my take on which service is better. In this review, I'm going to compare the Virgin and Delta Premium Economy products. I'll score each service based on a range of criteria to conclude which scores higher. Last year I flew both airlines and gave them my 2022 verdict. Virgin scored more highly than Delta. But have things changed in 2023? Let's find out. I've flown with both airlines in the past couple of months. With Delta, I flew Premium Select from London to New York on an Airbus A330-900neo aircraft. With Virgin Atlantic, I flew Premium Economy from New York to London on an Airbus A330-300 aircraft on a day flight, and from London to Nassau on a Boeing 787-9 aircraft. Delta Premium Select passengers check in at Sky Priority desks, alongside business class passengers and those with loyalty programme status. There was no queue for the Heathrow check-in desk when I flew recently, but I have waited several minutes on previous occasions. The baggage allowance was 2 bags weighing up to 23 kilos each. With Virgin Atlantic at both JFK and Heathrow, there were dedicated premium economy check-in desks, separate from business class. Here I didn't queue at all. The baggage allowance was also 2 bags weighing up to 23 kilos each. So on check-in experience, Virgin slightly has the upper hand with separate premium economy check-in desks. Delta announces its gates a lot earlier than Virgin, so you don't feel rushed to get to the gate. At the gate, you wait to be called forward to board. Boarding was by group, with business and those with loyalty programme status called forward first. Sadly, that loyalty status doesn't extend to Virgin Gold cards, so I boarded with the rest of Premium Select. Reciprocity of loyalty benefits on Delta isn't very good. With Virgin, you were also called forward by group number to board. Virgin has recently adopted this boarding arrangement. Although people do still stand around getting in the way, Virgin Gold Card and Delta equivalents can board with business class passengers. Neither experience stands out as particularly good, but Virgin gets half a point more for better reciprocity of frequent flyer benefits. Don't forget to let me know what you think of the review. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I flew on one of Delta's newer aircraft, an Airbus A330-900neo. There were 28 seats in a 232 configuration. Delta also flies their older Boeing 767 aircrafts across the Atlantic. These have only 20 seats in a 222 configuration. The seat on the Neo was 18.5 inches wide with a pitch of 38 inches between each row. There was a decent space between seats and plenty of floor space. On the 767, the seats are slightly wider at 19 inches. The headrest was adjustable. The retractable footstool folded down from the bottom of the seat. The Virgin cabins were larger, with 48 seats in a 232 configuration on the A330-300 and 35 seats on the 787. Virgin also flies larger Airbus A350-1000 aircrafts across the Atlantic. These have 56 seats in a 242 configuration. The seat was 18.5 inches wide on most aircraft, but 21 inches wide on the A330-300. The pitch between each row was 38 inches. The space between the seats was okay and there was plenty of floor space. The headrest was adjustable. The footrest folded down from the back of the seat in front. On the newer aircraft with both airlines, the seat width and pitch were the same. The newer aircraft also have more floor space, with less room taken up by entertainment system kit. Both airlines offer a fairly good seat. Both airlines provided an amenity kit, although Virgin doesn't always do so on day flights. The Delta kit was a fabric pouch with nice ankle socks and an eye mask. There was also a toothbrush, toothpaste, earplugs and lip balm. The Virgin kit was made from recycled paper. It also included an eye mask, toothbrush, toothpaste and earplugs. It didn't feel like a quality product though. The Delta amenity kit was the superior. Both airlines have large entertainment screens. The systems feature a range of movies and box sets. The Delta system has an extensive range of movies and TV series. They provide good quality headphones, and the screen size varied from 10 inches to 13.3 inches in diameter. Power and USB ports were provided. Wi-Fi was pretty pricey at $29 for the flight. Both systems had touch screens and were easy to use. The range of content on Virgin wasn't as large as on Delta, and the headphones weren't particularly good quality. The screen size varied from 10.5 inches to 13.3 inches in diameter. Power and USB ports were provided. Wi-Fi was slightly cheaper at £21 for the flight. On entertainment, Delta was in the lead because of the range of content and better headphones. On Delta, Premium Select passengers shared bathrooms with economy, so there was a bit of a walk to get to the washroom. It was pretty compact, but well maintained throughout the flight. On Virgin, there were 2 dedicated premium economy bathrooms at the front of the cabin. Again, it was pretty compact, but also well maintained throughout the flight. Virgin scores the upper hand by having dedicated bathrooms. The Delta food and drink offering wasn't really a premium experience. It was more akin to economy, with food served in cartons. The pre-flight Prosecco was served after takeoff in a plastic cup. Juice and water were offered throughout the flight. The portions weren't particularly large and the quality wasn't that great. A second snack was served just before landing. The Virgin food and drink offering was in stark contrast. You were handed a menu to start, followed by a welcome drink pre-takeoff. The meal was better presented. The portion sizes were larger too. On the day flight from New York, you were served breakfast after takeoff, and then an evening meal prior to landing. On other Virgin day flights from London, you're served a meal after takeoff and then afternoon tea before landing. Drinks and snacks were available in the galley throughout the flight. The Virgin food and drink offering was far better than that on Delta. The Delta cabin crew were friendly and the service levels good, a significant improvement on my experience in 2022. With Virgin, on the other hand, the service felt like it had deteriorated since last year. The cabin crew were just doing a job with none of the Virgin sparkle. Neither service was outstanding, but Delta just was better. Adding up the scores for each of these criteria, Delta scores 64% compared to Virgin's 67%. Last year I concluded that Virgin stood out, primarily because of the onboard service. That wasn't the case this year. Delta has upped its game. They just need to do something about the poor food. With Virgin, the service needs some attention, as does the range of movies. I'd probably still take the Virgin flight rather than the Delta codeshare, primarily for the better food, but load up some content to watch on my iPad. Let me know if you agree with my analysis. Would you rather fly Virgin Premium Economy or Delta Premium Select? And please do subscribe for future reviews.